Greetings, Dumelang Lochani Sanbonani. Welcome to another segment with myself, Umama Buma. Let's Heal Marriages. Ngududuzile ngwakachila umntwana. Uthethwe kaMahlangu siyanamukela ku-2026. I hope nonke ni right emakhaya mndeni wami. Today we have a bit of a unusual topic because of, in life we lose our parents, but not in a way that we like. Abanye abobaba badla phansi bayabaleka, but others, life cut them short. So unfortunately today we are here with our brothers that will tell us Uguti, how was life without a head? They say a father is a head and he leads, he guides, he teach. So we want to understand today, how did these brothers do it without the head? Right, Sanbonan.
Sawona.
Ninjani?
Siyaphila.
Siyaphila. Okay. Asicale ngawe. You are the older brother, right?
Yes.
You are?
My name is Ushedrek Mokorwane, and a lot of people know me as Ushedi.
Okay.
That's my name.
All right. You are the second one?
Yes, I'm the last born, the younger one. My name is Umbuso Mokorwane. I'm Shadi's younger brother. You wouldn't tell the difference in age gap because I think we're also very close. But he is my older brother by quite a significant gap as well.
And what is the significant gap?
6 years.
Listen to that. So you had to help him from the bullying, right?
Yeah, I know.
Was there ever bullying though? Everywhere, Marie, bullying, guys.
I know.
I know. I think I was quite fortunate enough to not really have experienced bullying.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
We grew up in a fairly good environment. I think we've never had a situation where I come back home and I'm like, I'm going to go call my brother to come beat you up or anything like that.
You are fortunate.
Yes. So I've been very fortunate.
That's a blessing, right?
It really is.
Right, Shadrach. Ubanu Shadrach, tell us about yourself.
Where do I even start? So Shadrach, firstly, I'm God-fearing man of God. I'm a dad as well. I've got a daughter. My daughter's name is Ontatile. She's now turning 4. And then I'm very passionate about football. And then I do graphic design as well. I have a photography as well, business that I'm also running. And present dad, present brother, present son, servants in the house of the Lord. I think that's just something I can say, Ogwamanj. That is who
nice.
I am.
And you, Mbuso?
So Mbuso is obviously a young man who loves the Lord. Grew up in a Christian household with a very tight, close-knit family. Fortunate to have, grown up in a very loving environment. I'm very bubbly. I like speaking. I'm quite social, but I do tend to also detach myself sometimes. My social battery can, run out. I think my brother knows how to handle me best. He knows when it's, hey, I see his face, but when I'm out there, I tend to enjoy myself being around people. I currently completed my honors in BCom economics at the University of Pretoria.
Complete honors. Yeah.
So yes, I'm also very passionate about soccer. I think obviously that rubbed off from my older brother, watching him play soccer, watching him maybe play games. It has just always been something that has, been in our blood. I think also, when I listen to the stories about my father, he also had a soccer club that he used to run. Ekasi. So I think it's something that has just been, inherent within us. Then I think, that's about it, I think that's about it. That's a very brief summary of who I am.
Of Mbuso. Okay, guys. I understand Uti, you lost Ubaba at a very young age. Is it even an age? Apparently you were 6?
I was 6. Yes, I was 6.
And you were 6 months.
6 months, exactly.
Just listen to that. And I wonder how was growing up without your dad. Shadrach, what can you say? How was growing up without Ubaba? Remember, Ubaba is he's an example.
Yeah,
we look up to him. He when there's a problem, you run to your dad as a boy child. Obviously, when you encounter any kind of problem, rather than talking to mommy, you rather talk to dad. Am I right? That's what my boys do. They run to their father. So I can just imagine who did you run to?
No, I think growing up without a dad was just, it was kind of wild in a way. That's something that I could say. But you know, I think maybe when you don't really know what it is to have a dad, and then like a part of you doesn't really see, oh, it's okay, no, you don't have a dad. Until only when you start growing up, and then, you know, you come against like challenges and experiences when you now see your friends talking about their dad, and then you're like, oh, I actually don't have a dad. Then only then does it like sink in, to know I don't have a dad. But I feel like my mom played like a very huge role in filling in that gap. So I
Big
wouldn't.
up to her.
Yeah, no,
She did
definitely.
a good job, right?
Yeah, no, she did a very excellent job. So yeah, I think, yeah, growing up without a dad, obviously it's challenging. It has its challenges, especially as a boy. Yeah, well, especially when you come like across different challenges as mfana, yabona, and, you know, seeing your friends learning how to drive from their dad, or maybe their dad, you know, is the one who aphelezela ebholweni and stuff like that. But like for me, it wasn't really like, I wouldn't say like it's a sad story. I don't want people to think, you see, you know, it was a sad story. But like it was it was challenging. But I'm here today. We did it. That's all I can say.
Okay, what I'm drawing from your statement is that you cannot be hurtful with something that you don't know. Are you trying to say that? Uzama ukuthi you cannot uzubuhlungu ngento ozange experience. It's not like your father passed when you were 12, bekakhona and all that. So it's something that you don't know ukuba nobaba. So you pushed life with that motion ukuthi awazi ukuthi kunjani ukuba nobaba.
Yeah, I would say that to a certain extent, of course, because as you grow, like I was saying, then you only start seeing that void. You know, this is what the dad is supposed to be doing. Certain things in the yard. Then you're like, oh no, this is actually something that dad was supposed to be doing, and all of that. But like, I think he passed on at an age where like I was very young. I was only 6. So I feel like the connection that I was striving for, something like that, being a developing.
Yes.
Whereas to some people are losing their fathers at the age of like 20. So they've been with their dad for like a longer time to experience him in different ways. So with me, like I just have glimpses of him. He's more like a dream. Like ngimbonele ekudeni lana. I have to go back to pictures obviously and be like, oh, this is him. And then like, I just have like a few memories that I have of him. So I feel like that to a certain extent doesn't really make me feel like like a major loss. Although it is painful, but yeah, that's all I can say.
And you, Mbuso?
I think for the most part, I agree with my brother. You know, the experiences we shared, I think, are very similar, and that we obviously went through the same thing. You know, going to soccer trainings and games. You know, people coming with their dads. You know, being a kid in primary school, it's Father's Day. People are writing Father's Day messages. You know, it's a bit of an awkward one for you. You know, now you have to explain yourself. Oh, no, I don't have a dad.
Yeah.
You know, I think for me, you know, the experience of not having a father, it only really, I'd say, settled in as I was transitioning into my teenage years. Because I feel like as a kid, you know, like there's so many things around your life that shield you from the reality of death. So you don't really like see the finality of death. You know, I don't know. It feels like, you know, there were so many male figures in my life, maybe not that much, but enough for me to not see the void of not having a father.
Okay.
I think my brother also mentioned how, you know, my mother stepped up. You know, my mother shielded us from so many things. She played both roles, essentially. But obviously, as you grow up, you know, you begin to have questions. You begin to ask, what if? And I think for me, a major turning point in, you know, my grief, if I can call it that, was grade 7 in December, end of year. I remember this like it was yesterday. So we were at the church camp, right?
Okay.
And I remember they like, you know, they were just praying for people as well. You know, if you know, something that's bothering you, something you'd like to be prayed for. They said she can stay behind so that we can minister to you. These were our youth leaders at the time.
Okay.
So I remember speaking to a friend of mine because we're like, nah, I'm fine, let's go. But as soon as I got to the room, you know, we're back at the gents' dorm. So we're just chilling. I'm like, boys in. I don't think I'm like 100% good, man. So I'm just going to go back. Do you want to go with? You see, I wanted someone to go with. I didn't want to go there alone. But he was like, I'm not an grand. So I was like, it's fine. So, you know, I went. And I remember as soon as I got there, I just started bawling my eyes out.
Oh.
Like just bawling my eyes out because I feel like I I finally knew what it meant to like lose a loved one. Like I knew that like, nah, he's not coming back. I'm not gonna have that. I'm never gonna have a biological
He's
father. Yeah, he's gone. You see, so I
Gone.
feel like that reality check for me at the time did feel overwhelming. You see, I think it was a process. I feel like from grade 6, I started knowing like, okay, like he's actually gone.
Starting to feel a
Yeah,
void.
I'm starting to feel a void. I'm starting to understand. I don't necessarily say a void, but understand the finality of it, that like this is actually not gonna change. So I think, obviously going into that situation, I started bawling my eyes out, crying, and they asked me what's wrong. I'm like, I lost my dad. Like it sunk in. Like I could actually say, like, I lost my dad. Like, and he's not coming back. And I remember at that time, I think my brother was outside playing. You see, it was they're like, bro, your little brother's crying, bro. So my brother comes in. He's also consoling me. He's like, it's all good. It's all good. But for me, that was such a necessary stage in my healing.
Okay.
Because ever since that day, like speaking about my father is not something that gives me a lump in my throat.
Okay.
It's so easy for me to say, no, my dad passed away when I was 6 months. Before then it was so hard. It felt like people are gonna feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna need to explain what happened, how did but after that, I felt like that was me
That
dealing
was
with
your
it.
breaking point and your healing point.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
I think you put it, absolutely spot on in saying that, that was my breaking point, because I finally understood that he's not coming back.
Oh,
Then I gave
yes.
myself a chance to also express my emotions at the time.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever, cried that much about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I cried, bawled, snots, hugs, everything, then after that I was really good. Like I can genuinely say, like, I'm good, I'm happy.
Okay.
I've healed, and it's something that doesn't make me feel sad or anything like that. It's
Do you
something.
talk about your dad? Okay, I doubt you have that much memory.
Yeah, no.
But do you, both of you sit down and comprehend that indoda asinababa? Do you get
Yeah.
to that stage ukuthi, okay, it's me and you, asinababa la emhlabeni? Does it ever get to that point?
Yeah.
No, hey, I don't think we've actually had a moment whereby we like, hey, dude, let's talk about this guy that's gone. Yeah, well, because to us it's like impilo vele iyaqhubeka kuthina. Yeah, well, so obviously there's certain days where we're like, it's time angabeli ibheka la, in. But like uthi sihlale phansi and have like a full blown conversation about our dad. I don't think we've actually had
No,
that
we
before.
haven't. I think what it usually is maybe like we would see something in the house that reminds us of him. Like my mom would say, oh no, your dad used to do this. Then, that's when we would like have the conversation, like, oh, how was he? Then, my mom would have like maybe memories he shares. My brother would also have, like, there was this other day, like I think this week we were speaking about, I think a teller or cash. What was it?
Yeah,
that was
till
Till
cash.
register.
yeah, till register.
Yeah.
Because he had a business, right? So we were speaking about it, like that is something we know. So things like that, just like small glimpses of maybe things that are related to him, then we'd like have a conversation about it. But I wouldn't necessarily say, it has been like a point of focus in our life where like we like sit down and be like, yo, like, Mabageko and stuff like that, you see. And I think that also has to do with the fact that we have seen God as our Father a lot. He has provided for us. We've never lacked. We've never gone to bed on an empty stomach. We've always had a roof over our head, food to eat, good schools to go to, a very loving and a warm environment as well. So I think, the role that our mother has played, as well as, us being believers and Christians, has, it has shielded us and protected us from a lot of things that I feel like, other kids who may not have that relationship would go through. You see, so from when you look at it in that perspective, I think that's the main reason why we've never had to wallow in the reality that we don't have a father, because there's been just so many instances where we've seen God show up, where we have seen, guys maybe at church, reach out. We've seen our mother be strong. We've seen our mother be gentle. You see, so she's played that role. We've also been there for one another as well. So I think you know, this platform is a very nice platform for us to maybe even like, you know, speak about it actually. Maybe go into depth on some things that we don't necessarily talk about on a day-to-day. But to say that we have sat down and had a full, you know, out conversation, no, I wouldn't necessarily say that. It's always just been glimpses, you know, speaking about some of the memories, what he did, how he's like, stuff like that. But like, yeah, no.
Oh, okay. But God says, I'm a father to the fatherless, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
it's good to have our Father in heaven. He takes care of us. He provides for us. And Shadrach, what would you say? What kind of a child were you?
Growing up, like, bengithanda ukudlala. I think because, you know, I was very gifted in playing ibhola.
Soccer.
So I was always outdoors all the time. Like, I don't think I grew up ever in the house or on like, okay, obviously that's the only time I was actually in the house is maybe when we were playing PlayStation with my friends and stuff like. But most of the time I grew up in J. Always outdoors, playing, very bubbly, energetic. Yeah, I love people as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like I grew up as someone who, you know, people found it easy to be friends with. Yeah, well, so yeah, I think that's what I can share on my side growing
but
up.
now you say you grow up being a child that likes playing and etc. Remember, now we are growing.
Yeah.
And then mawukhula, how did you merge? Because in my understanding, for at some point you need to be taught responsibilities.
Yeah.
Because there's no girl child. Your mother can't be doing everything.
It's true.
So how did that merge into your life? Being this soccer fanatic that you are, sorry.
No, definitely. Obviously, like there always comes a point in time in your life whereby you have to grow. Even though you might not want to at the time, but like there'll be situations whereby they will actually force you and challenge you with, you know, dude, you actually need to grow. Because my mom was someone, she's very hardworking. So she would come back from work and then she also does hair. So she has her own business. So maybe during the week she would be at work, and then Friday afternoon she's got clients. So she would have like clients that like would book her in the evenings. So obviously now so maybe today like I was sihlanganise McDonald's ayihlangani. So manje came a point whereby mom was like, you guys need to learn how to cook.
Yes.
So I started learning how to cook when I was 13 years old as a boy. So I started cooking obviously the easy things, rice, and then next thing it's pasta, spaghetti, just the basic things. If you know that we couldn't get some takeaway. So I think that's where the aspect of responsibility kicked in, because obviously my brother couldn't cook, and then we had to eat, and mamu busy and lean salon. So that's when I feel like I had to grow into that thing. I would say, okay, and now I have to cook, wash the dishes, clean up the house. And then eventually, obviously, as time went, then I've now ventured into doing other things, like, you know, cleaning outside in the yard. All those things I had to obviously learn by just observing, even from, you know, my friends. Like abangani bami, obviously their dads would be like, hey, you need to do this.
Just when I was about to ask, who did you learn all of that from?
I most of the things, like most of the manly things, I learned them outside. Because I think most of my friends, they had their dads. So obviously they would, like, I would always eavesdrop even in their conversations. The time I like then I would know it's okay, when I go back home I need to do this. So I think it just kicked in from like just observing my friends and how they had like a relationship and how they were doing things in the yard. So that's how I feel like I merged into that whole.
And obviously you had to learn from your brother.
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
Definitely. I think I learned a lot from my brother, you know. He was the closest thing to a paternal figure in my life that was consistently present. So I'd obviously pick up things from him, you know. I would learn from him, you know, okay, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. This is what is expected of us. This is, you know, I think definitely, you know, I learned a lot from my brother more than any other male figure, I think definitely I learned, especially with regards to what to do around the house. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say I picked up anything much from outside. How to braai, I learned it from my brother. That the trash needs to go out, I learned it from my brother. If mom's not home, I'm not home, you need to cook, so like those type of things. I think like, everyday responsibilities that are required not only of a boy child but of a child in general. I
Yes.
picked up from my brother because he obviously had to go through those things a lot earlier than I did because of the age gap as well. So it gave me time to observe, to learn. But I definitely do think also I had to grow up quick, because he couldn't just bear the brunt of the responsibilities alone. Yeah, so I did grow up quick. I learned to take responsibility early, and I think that's a value our mother has instilled in the both of us. Learning to take responsibility, being proactive, not just waiting for her to tell us. More bonus thing for something to be done. Yeah,
Just do it.
just do it. Exactly. If we are in Zamaputa, then we are okay, ma, how, like, I messed up here. So how do we fix it? If my brother also doesn't know, I ask my mom. But I did try for the most part to keep my brother as a first point of contact.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think, to be honest, our relationship with my brother got better as we grew.
Yes.
Because the age gap was so much. So I was still like a toddler, he's going into teenage stage, so we don't really relate much. So I think definitely the period from when I was in primary and high school, we weren't that close. Like, I know he's my older brother, I know I can count on him, but there's just certain conversations we can't have. But as soon as I was transitioning into high school, 16, 15, 14, those ages, that's when I feel like my relationship with my brother started to blossom a lot.
What would you say brought you closer, you and your brother?
Obviously, I'd definitely say our shared interest for soccer, primarily. We obviously stay together, so I have to face you every day. We stay together, so I have to face you every day. But, I think one of the things that definitely brought me closer to my brother is understanding that I can count on him.
Yeah.
Yes, like I know to put amanyangang paizis. I think that's one of the things that, like, actually, this is a blessing to have this type of relationship. That, like, I know I have someone I can count on, someone that won't judge me. Then even if they say something, they correct me. I know it's from a place of love. I don't have to question where it's coming from. I know he has the best interest, my best interest at his heart. So I know he wouldn't say or do something to spite me. So I think that's where the relationship essentially started blossoming, when you understand the nature of what you have, that, like, this is someone I can truly count on. So I think that's, like, where our relationship got strengthened, understanding the role we can play for each other, that we can be there for each other, we can support each other. We can do life together. We can talk openly and freely. No need to hide. No need to pretend.
Yes.
Like, okay, like, I remember the other day, we were speaking with my brother about something that, was personal to the both of us, you see. And, like, those are the type of conversations we have where we are free to speak about anything that maybe we're not comfortable to speak with the people outside. So I think, realizing that I have a shoulder to cry on, that won't
Makes
judge
life
me.
easy.
Yes, exactly. It becomes easy for me to open up when I have that understanding that, like, like, I can speak to my brother about anything, no matter how awkward it might be,
Okay, so because I'm a boy mom as well.
Yeah.
So I would really want to get an advice.
Okay.
How do you handle conflict? Because obviously you guys,
Definitely.
you cannot be perfect
Yeah.
throughout.
Yeah.
There's sibling rivalry somewhere there. And how do you handle kanjani conflict? Maseseniqabana, obviously. How, because sometimes as a mother, those two boys, they are here. With me, it's three. So sometimes I don't even know how to get in between them.
Yeah.
Because low feeling to right. Now low feel, and I'm a boy. And boys, yabafana. I wonder which my men wins kanjani. She must come and give me tips. Like, really.
Yeah.
How do you handle conflict? Ni sebenza kanjani? Especially with the gap. Because this gap, there must be some sense of respect in between. How do you address your brother?
I've always addressed him as Ushadi. I've never, gone through that phase with Puti. Yeah, no, I think, and I feel like, in as much as that is very important, but I think that's something that contributed to me relating with my brother as my best friend.
Okay.
You see, so I wouldn't necessarily say the respect was never there.
Okay.
That's something my mother instilled at a very young age, that this is your older brother. You listen to him.
No matter what.
No matter what. Sometimes I'd feel that my mother would agree with him just so that I also understood. He's more of the responsible one. So he's likely going to be right in most things. Then rather maybe she would speak to him at the corner and be like, okay, but Lapana maybe didn't handle it right. But to hide the relationship from dishonor, my mother, I think she played a very good role in ensuring that I understood my role as a younger brother.
Okay.
And obviously respecting my brother, listening to my brother. If it is a day where it's either me or him washing the dishes, my mom would say, no, you wash it, you're the younger one. Yeah, but let's say Mizol wash mom. Then obviously now it's either me or Shadow or Shai. So I know the Shady is definitely not doing it. So I need to go do it. So I think, those small things that instill to he's your older brother, respect him, listen to him. I think also understanding that the more respect you give, the easier it is for you to be a younger brother as well and learn.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to cheat myself of learning from him by disrespecting him. Because it becomes harder for someone to lead you if you do not honor them.
That's good.
So I think that's something that my mother instilled in us from a very young age, that if you listen to your brother, you'll be able to get more out of him. And I think that's something I just took as a child. I listened to my brother. I used to, I didn't want to get on his wrong side. Because he also used to.
Shadrach has a bad side.
Yes, don't do that. Even they say maybe I
He looks so sweet.
maybe let's say I disrespected my mother's be dude, you don't do that. That's not right. But he's not violent.
Okay.
My brother's not violent. He's a very he knows how to use his words well, and he's not sharp with his words as well. He's very kind. He's very careful.
Up to you, brother.
He's very
careful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
He's very careful with how he speaks to us, all of us at home.
He doesn't want to break you.
No, he doesn't want to break you, but the
wow.
message will come across. Now, mostly we want to want to so I think that's obviously we both play soccer, so there's that competitiveness within us inherently, but you learn to submit to one another in the house. You learn, which I know, like, let's just honor the relationship, the dynamics. He's the older brother. I don't mind, taking the back seat and allowing him to be the older brother. I feel like I don't want that role because someone else already has it. Yeah, so
you're not in competition.
No, I'm not at all.
Good.
I'm not at all.
Good.
So I allow him to be the older brother, and I wouldn't have any other way. I learned so much from my brother. I think he's probably one of the wisest people I know. Doesn't speak much, but when he does speak, I tend to.
He has wisdom.
Exactly.
That's good.
Exactly.
So Shedwena, what can you say? How can you manage kanjani Mbuso, especially with the gap? As Mbuso say that he respects you, so that now umamkhuza azukuzwa. So wena uzama kanjani ukumaintain the respect that he has for you?
With regards to conflict resolution and all of those things, Endlin, I don't even try to maintain or to put your authority but when it comes to Umbuso, because I feel like that's where most of the time we lose it. But because you are going to consciously try and be firm and be strong and be dominant and show him good, I'm the big brother. So like when you start doing that, then automatically now as yourself, as the big brother, you are gonna constantly now be in a competitive space.
You lose the plot somehow.
Yeah, you lose the plot. Because at the end of the day, he's your younger brother. You're not supposed to break him, even though he is younger than you. But it doesn't mean every time you supposed to drill it in him. Now, and bully him. So now, when it comes to Umbuso and our relationship is actually very matured. Like Sehlonipana. He knows that I'm the older brother, but like I don't have to tell him or remind him that I'm your older brother. So I feel like he's made it easier for me to actually even be an older brother because he doesn't always try and be in my face and maybe try and compete with me or, you know, question my authority as a big brother or anything like that. But like, yeah, like we've never actually had we've never even had a physical fight, my brother and I.
Wow.
Yeah, well.
That's your boys.
Yeah.
Abafana. You guys don't understand. Hey, nina niphila kuliphi ilizwe? Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've never had like a physical fight. Obviously, akhona malanga like umbuso obvious uzongibora. But like I wouldn't like swear at him or you know bang the door behind him or curse him, yeah, or anything like that. No, it's just a matter of ukuthi like yeah, khona ukuzibamba.
I think the foundation that your mother laid is excellent. Eh?
Yeah,
I think she did a good job.
yeah, no,
Because, you
definitely.
know, boys, they feel like it's two bulls in one,
Crow.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to tell me anything, and you're not going to tell me anything.
Yeah.
So I think your mother did a very exceptional job. I must give it to her. And then one thing that I want to know, okay, now you are brothers, you are growing up in one household, there's no ubaba akekho, but now kuza le stage is delicate, you know, where you see yourself as grown. I know you grow up in a church environment, but we are not going to lie and say you didn't experience girls.
Yes.
Right? How did you deal with that? Mase sekufika estagini sokuthi manje, I think I love her. Wenza kanjani?
Okay, on my side, obviously, I am interested in girls. Yeah, well, so it came to a point. I think in high school, obviously, like as Splomil and Amachita, and then we start now having an eye for women. Yeah, well, we see them. It's, hey, yeah, Lord, this one is beautiful. She's pretty, obviously, but then you learn as you go. Yeah, well, so you like, oh, you try and experience. It's oh, this is how you talk to a girl. Yeah, well, because obviously, I think without having that thing, you would see like you see it from your dad, how your dad talks to your mother. Yeah, well, and how they treat your mom. Obviously, you don't have that role. Yeah, well, so but then as you grow in high school, then you see it's okay. Like I think, Mina, on my side, it was mainly on like observation, and then you test drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Khona esikoleni. Yabo esikoleni or you know your friends' parents. Yabo, and then obviously also in the family as well, you know,
Social
your
media
aunts.
as well.
I wouldn't really say social media at the time because at that time I was still on Mixit. So I like it wasn't like on the like the Mjol and all of that, or maybe Facebook and stuff like that. But like I wasn't really like a social media person growing up. So I would just see and observe from like the people around me. And then yeah, you just talk to a girl. If uthukile, then you just keep quiet. And then yeah, as you grew, and then you're like, oh okay. Yeah, well, maybe if she comes to you, then you talk to her as well. Yeah, and then I think that's how it was from the beginning. Yeah, from the beginning, that's how it was.
But now you've got a daughter.
Yeah, and then obviously, obviously now, now I've got a daughter, so it just comes to show with you. Obviously, I advanced in the female game. Yeah, well, not too.
And you are taking good care of your daughter.
No, yeah, definitely taking good care of my daughter. And yeah, she's been a blessing to me. I've learned a lot even through her. Yeah, well, so yeah, I think that's all I can say on my side for now.
You are a present father.
Yeah, present. 100% present. She's with me even as we speak.
She stays with you?
No, she just came for the weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I see her often. Yeah, see her often. I'm
Keep
always
it
with
up,
her.
ne?
Thank you.
Keep it up.
Thank
Buy
you so
her
much.
flowers.
Yeah.
Mthengela ama-bloom. Teacher ukuthi makabona i-KFC angajumpi umfana amrobhe ngayo. You know, teach her those basic things, because today's girls mababona nje islab se-chocolate uyahlanya. You know, because dad at home is not buying her chocolates. You know, so if you at home do it right, it prevents a lot of unnecessary things outside teenage pregnancies and etc. So Mbuso, when uhandle kanjani istage sabusisi and then
Okay. So I think the right word is what my brother said, test driving, right? So you just learn a few things, you see how these people do it, then you see, okay, so that's how you interact with girls. I think my brother was about to obviously mention a very important point that obviously, in as much as, you know, we are Christians, we aren't perfect. You know, so
no one is perfect.
we did have, you know, obviously phases where you interact with girls. I think he was about to actually mention that, not to glorify,
Yeah.
you know, the mistakes that he's made, you know, but obviously we learn from it and we accept the responsibility of, you know, what happens with those decisions you make, right? So I think with me, very similar also, you know, you just observe. Maybe if I'm sleeping over my friend's house, both the parents are there. Okay, this is how you treat a woman. My mother also would tell us, "Hey boy, muntu wesifazane, nje, nje, kanje." You know, maybe your aunts. I think that's, yeah, like it's mostly observational. You see, it's observational. Then, you know, just doing what you think. Okay, this looks like it's working. Okay, this girl's attracted to me. I'm attracted to this girl. Okay, let's speak. You know, phone calls. You know, going on dates. I think the most vivid memory I have was in high school, where I had a girlfriend. So in high school, I had a girlfriend. Then it was Valentine's Day. So now it was Valentine's Day. So obviously now you see that, like, you know, okay, Valentine's Day is actually a big thing, you know. So like I tell them, you know, I have a girlfriend, guys. Can you guys give me something to go buy? Obviously for my girlfriend, you know. So I remember my brother's such a good guy. My brother bought me. He sent me money actually, because I remember I was a prefect in school, so I wasn't going to be able to give them to her because I was going to be on duty. So I didn't want to go on duty now holding flowers and stuff.
Okay.
So what I did was, so my brother gave me money. Then I told my friend what to get me. So my friend, I think, got flowers, Krispy Kreme donuts, and I forgot what else. I think it was just flowers and donuts. And
That was grade 7?
no, this was matric.
Oh.
Matric, yeah. Grade 7, it was mostly just like crushes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just had a crush on you, you know. You hugged her. Oh yeah, I hugged her. That's it, you know. But I think in matric, that's when you now, obviously now you start dating, you understand, oh, okay, you know, I have feelings for this person, I like this person. Oh, this is how you guys actually go on dates. Oh, you guys have to call. You need to maintain the relationship, you know, you need to speak and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that was pretty much it. But yeah, for me, I think that is the most funniest memory of that stage.
matric one, yeah.
When my brother, you know, he came through for me, then obviously matric dance, you know, stuff like that. So I think for me, that's what I can say, you know. It's just observing, just going with the flow, I guess.
Yeah.
There's not really much of a playbook that you can follow, that step 1, step
no
2.
manual,
Exactly,
right?
there's no manual. Exactly, so you just learn what you see. I think even in movies, because I grew up in the time where, like, now these things are all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So you see, oh, okay, in series, movies, oh, okay, and you just pick up habits from there. and
You take what's important.
You take what's important.
And you leave what is not right.
Exactly, you see. So
Yes.
you take what you can, then you just see how it goes. If it doesn't work, okay, you know, you move on, and you just, I think that's my interaction with girls.
So, Mbuso, it's very evident that you are really thankful for your brother
Yeah.
because of your father wasn't there.
Definitely,
Am I right?
definitely.
What can you say to your brother that you never told him?
I am very loud about my gratitude towards my brother. I don't think it's something I hide, whether be it's Father's Day or his birthday.
Do you buy him something?
Yes, I do. When I can, I buy him something. I definitely do. I know he can attest to it. I buy him something. I think the last Father's Day I wrote him a very nice message with, you know, actually handwritten message. Just actually telling him that, you know, I've seen you be a father. I've never had a father figure, and I'm very proud to see how you're handling it. But to, you know, answer your question, I think what I can say to my brother is thank you, you know, for being present. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for loving me. You know, thank you for taking care of us at home where you can, you know, providing good insights and leadership. Yeah, I think for me, it's just gratitude. You've just been a very good guy. I'm a very kind person, you know, very kind person. I think that's something I take, or I'd like to embody, that my brother has, his kindness, his gentleness, you know. So I think, you know, thank you for teaching me that, you know, you can be a leader and kind.
Being kind, you don't have to be harsh.
Exactly.
You don't have to be a bully because you're very firstborn, you know.
Yes. So
wow.
I think for me, it's
And
just
Shad,
gratitude.
what can you say, you know, without being a father, as Mbuso just said, that you are leading, ukhona ekhaya, present.
Yeah.
What can you say to a young boy out there, you know, uyi firstborn and he's basically in the dark and bakhona ma siblings ayamlandela? What can you say? Ungamguide uthini vividly so?
What I can say is that, you know, first of all, just show love to the younger siblings, your younger brother or your sister. At all times, just ensure ukuthi they can count on you, they can depend on you in everything that they do, because they in most cases they're the ones that like they are looking up to the older brother. So now if the older brother is perceived as a tyrant, then they'll grow up to be tyrants as well. And then they're gonna express that, you know, dominant side even in their relationships, in their friendships, in their marriage, or as they grow up as well. So you just need to be conscious of the fact that like you are human as much as your little brother is human, and your little sister as well. And then also have that thing at the back of your mind, Uguti, how would you like appreciate that experience if you were the younger brother? If you were the younger one and then this one was in your position and then he was the one that was treating you like this, how would it like you have, you know? So now my advice is that just be gentle, just be understanding as well, and just kind, uzame. Yeah, just try. It's possible. You don't need to always be violent and aggressive towards them, but like it's actually possible to be a big brother and kind and loving at the same time. But then obviously, you know, exercising your authority as a big brother as well. Yeah, so I think that's what I can just tell them out there. With you guys, it's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible to be a big brother.
Mbuso said he was not bullied. I didn't ask you, were you not bullied as well? You didn't experience bullying?
No, not at all, actually. I think in primary school, for a small period, I was the bully. Yeah, I was the bully for a certain extent. I don't know.
That?
I really don't know. I think maybe, you know, the fear of being rejected or the fear of being bullied. So I needed to,
you need to step up.
Yeah, first. I needed to step up first. So I was for the most of primary school, I was always the guy in class, who would be the jokester. So I think like most of my bullying was through jokes. I would just crack jokes at people, not like physical bullying or anything like that, but like just cracking jokes,
making fun of them.
Yeah, making fun of them. But then obviously as you grow older and then you realize it's not I nice. Think also one thing that made me stop bullying or like making fun of other people was when like I was confronted by a female that I actually had a crush on. She's like, dude, if you're gonna continue doing this, then so I think that person played a role in stopping me. Which dude, you need to stop this. And then I actually realized which I wouldn't like appreciate it if it was
someone would do that to you.
Yeah.
What caused that? Was it a facade? Was protect her from something? Maybe was it hurt?
I really don't know. Hey, I really don't know. I honestly speaking, I don't know what it is. Maybe it was, because I think, you know, there was a time, I do remember there was a time whereby like obviously now you realize okay, you don't have a dad, ne? And then when people start talking about their dads and then they approach you, it's almost as if like you feel as though like they are trying to bully you for not having a dad. So to me, I think it was my way of saying, you know, don't come at me.
Building a wall.
Yeah, I was building a wall. It's okay. So any form of weakness that I felt like I had, I didn't want people to, you know, touch. Yeah. So that being said, obviously people would now be afraid of like, it's okay, because he's gonna do this. So in that way, I feel like it also protected me from having people, you know, confront me. So I think also maybe that's where it may have derived from. That's just the wall that I was trying to you know, to build.
But you transformed into a wonderful young man. Now Budwako is attesting singing praises of what a wonderful man you are. What do you think is your, God says lean not on your own understanding, you must lean on God. What is your running place? Like yini into wenza ukuthi ube so sound, ube so intact, be the brother that you are, be the support structure yakamamako. What keeps you grounded? Let me say.
Firstly, the thing I think I truly believe what keeps me grounded the most, is the Holy Spirit. Me being a Christian, I feel like those principles that you learn growing into Christianity, that's something that I instilled in myself. Dude, like there's no need for you to be a monster. And then also my mom as well. Definitely my mother is someone who is very kind. I think most of my kindness comes from my mother. Because my mother is very kind. She's very loving. She's very warm. So I because I'm very close with her, I think me being able to see how she was even towards other people, it just rubbed off on me. So I think that's how I just stay grounded on my side.
That's
just
good.
My relationship with Christ, and obviously the way my mother raised me and seeing it from her. That's I feel like that's what it is on my side.
So basically church helps. Church can ground you. Church can build a foundation. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely.
If you don't have a father, we have a father. That is God.
Definitely.
We run to God. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, definitely.
Is the sentiment the same, Musa?
Definitely, 100%. I think our relationship with Christ is essentially what's kept us this far. Just having that foundation and just looking on how you can become more and more like Christ. As you pursue him, I feel like there's no way that you can remain the same, because in your pursuit of Christ, you recognize that maybe this is what I need to let go of. I can't be this, I can't be that. And a lot of the times these things aren't positive traits. So I think that's essentially what keeps you grounded, in that, even as you grow and you advance in life, you remember these certain things. And that's what keeps you centered on being a good person. I was on a podcast last week with my father in the faith, Apostle Ben, and he said that you don't necessarily pray for character, you develop character.
Oh, wow.
So I
That's
think
profound.
I think character is something you work on. It doesn't just fall on you.
Exactly.
So it doesn't just fall on you. I remember having a conversation with my mother. So we're very open at home, right? And my mother was telling me that there's something that she doesn't like of me. Sometimes, when I'm frustrated, I tend to isolate myself. So I tend not to want to talk. And at times that does get frustrating to my mother and brother, because maybe they want to help, but because I don't want to talk, then it's like it creates that friction. So, going into the new year, as I was telling my mother some of my goals, I mentioned it like, there's something I want to work on. She's like, yes, but I think, if you definitely work on this. So it's a process, right? How you become grounded, it's a process. It doesn't just happen overnight. So I definitely think those are things that keep me centered, is my pursuit for Christ, primarily, and understanding that there's certain things that need to change for me to be an accurate representation of Christ. Because that I feel like is what we are called to be as Christians, all of us. It's not something that's just for the fivefold ministers, but every child of God is called to be an accurate representation of Christ. And that will mean confronting some character traits that aren't good, right? Confronting them, being honest about them, and not being offended at them. Understanding that this is necessary for you to become who you're meant to be.
So, but it's not easy for a boy child to talk about Christ, to go to church. Because it's difficult to bring a boy child to church. They get so bored. They are not interested in church. Let alone Jesus. Who is Jesus? What are you talking about?
True.
So can you share, please, how you maintained the Christ way?
Well, on my side, for the most part, I would say, Guti, I also had my challenges, obviously. When it came to my walk, because I did fall off. At a certain point in my life, I did fall off. there was a time whereby I felt like maybe my prayers weren't being heard.
Okay.
Yeah, boy. And then I felt as though like I know I'm wasting my time at church. Why am I going to church? Yeah, boy. So I wouldn't really say, Guti. Obviously, like I grew up in church. Like the foundation was always church.
Was
My mother
church.
was always like an intercessor. She made sure Guti on my Sunday we're always going to church. Or sometimes she would wake us up, and then it would be hard for me personally to wake up. But then obviously she's like, hey, Saintly Nyamna. As I grew older, and then she eventually just let go of me. As in, okay, it's fine, because so you're cooler. Do what you want to do, and then experience life.
Make your own path.
Make your own path. And then obviously in the midst of that path, then you start realizing it's like, no, I understand why mama was trying to protect me and tell me, go this way. I feel like that was very important on my side for me to experience the things that I experienced, do some of the things that I did, not to glorify them, but to have my own personal encounter with God. I feel like most of the time the reason why it's hard for gens to go to church is because they hear from God, from abanye abantu. They don't really experience God themselves.
Oh wow.
So when you in the streets and then now you come back and then you've actually saw who's okay, I learn, and then when you go and then you pursue God for yourself, and then you now develop like a intimate fellowship with him, and then you understand, oh, this is who he is, this is what we are called to do, this is then obviously now you are able to relate more with the things of God, understand who Christ is, and all of that. But then obviously if you gonna hear about uNkulunkulu from other people or in the streets or on social media and stuff like that, then it becomes hard for amachito ukuthi something, because nakhona futhi society, most gens think ukuthi sonto labantu besifazane, church is for women, because like vele as amachita we are not really submissive. So obviously now when you go to church, they are telling you that there's a father there that you need to bow down to. So but I think with you, the more you spend time in Christ, the more you understand him. Every day you're there, every day you pray, every day you read the word, every day you find yourself being discipled by the right people, and being also, I think it's also very important to be in the right church and discerning the type of church that you're in, because there are gents that I know, some of my friends who found themselves in churches that were not really good. Not to mention names or pastors or anything like that, but then the more you grow in your faith with God, then you're able to recognize this the reason why you feel a certain type of way about uNkulunkulu is because of how you actually experienced uNkulunkulu in those type of churches. The doctrines that were being taught there and the values that they had and stuff like that. So that's what actually causes a lot of guys to be doubtful when it comes to Christianity and church and God and Jesus and all of that, because the experiences that they might have had, or the things that they may have seen or heard from other people. All
right, my burning question is peer pressure. We are struggling with drugs, we are struggling with a whole lot of things as South Africa. Nindlula kanjani ku peer pressure, especially when you have friends and the drugs? My biggest problem with boys is drugs. They found themselves entangled in drugs. They cannot go out and just have fun without having a habli, without having, what do they call the small thing nowadays? Vape or chew, something like that. So sisindlula kanjani kuleyo pressure le ukuthi you can be cool and not smoke. You can be cool without alcohol. Sindlula kanjani kulezo zinto lezo?
That's such a good question, Ma. So I think firstly, maybe I'll be a bit biased and speak mostly to the boy child, but I think it can also apply to the girl child as well. I think one of the most important things that helped me was my mom allowed me to be a part of extracurricular activities.
Okay.
As a boy child, if you are idle, you are more likely going to find yourself dabbling in the wrong things.
Doing wrong things.
Yes. Okay. So I think for me, I had a very simple life. I went to school, I went to training, I got back from training, I played with my friends, did homework, went to sleep. So you didn't really have much time to be idle and start considering, what if okay, let's try that. Okay, what about this? So I think for, you know, a young child and a parent that's maybe like, what can I do about this? How could I prevent my child? I think, you know, considering, you know, keeping your child in extra, like identifying their interests and supporting them, not like brushing them off. If your child says, you know, maybe I fits, but public speaking, you know, investing in that. If they like, you know, sports, investing in that, showing interest in that is what played a big role in my own life. But definitely, you know, I'll definitely say the biggest role is the foundation you set spiritually for your children.
Okay.
You know, sometimes, and I think my mom can testify to this, that the prayers you send concerning your children, at times maybe you will not see them immediately. You know, even I wasn't always perfect. You know, I've also had a phase where, you know, I would say I was lukewarm in my walk with Christ. I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I wasn't really, you know, living the Christian life. Though I claim I'm a Christian, you know, I wouldn't really follow what is expected of a Christian, you know. But I think some of the prayers my mother prayed for us, you know, some of the, you know, the foundational aspect, you know, knowing that we have a God in heaven who loves us, you know, that we believe in Christ, you know. So I think the foundational aspect of this is very powerful and necessary. Then, you know, dealing with peer pressure, maybe now you're a young child dealing with peer pressure, it also stems from knowing who you are. I think that's one of the biggest, you know, challenges that we as young people have today, especially given that there's social media. So everyone is telling us what we are, and no one is necessarily identifying who they are. So you're just receiving it, not really going about identifying it. So I definitely think, you know, being conscious about why you accept certain things and why you fall for having an honest conversation with yourself. I think that's what helped me a lot when I was faced with peer pressure, whether it be drinking or smoking. You know, I'd ask myself, okay, but why am I doing this? And then you realize that there's no need to do this.
There's no need. Yes.
You know, but I think the scary part is realizing that there's no need and having to say it. Because you feel like everyone else is doing it, I'm going to look weird. But I think once you understand who you are and you can honestly say that, I don't understand why we're doing this. You know, sometimes we make situations bigger than they are. If you were to confront your friends who are doing it with the same questions they confront you, if they ask you, why are you doing it? Why are you not doing it? You can literally turn the question and ask them, why are you doing it? Then you begin to realize that actually they also don't have a reason. And that gives you a platform to now tell them that there's actually
no need.
There's no need, you see. So I think first and foremost, having that conversation with yourself, where it's okay, so I felt pressure to do this. I didn't want to do it. You know, why did I feel the pressure? What are the benefits of me doing this? Is this necessary? Does this align with who I want to be or what I want to be, or even what I've been taught at home? You know, your mom's voice begins to resonate louder and louder when you're outside. Maybe at home it's it's just mom, but when you're outside you actually realize that mom's voice is so loud now. Exactly. So, you know, having these conversations with yourself, not allowing things to happen to you, because sometimes we just allow these things to happen to us. We just accept them. Okay, I know I smoked, it happened. Oh, I drank, it happened. You allow it to happen to you. You don't actually address it. You're just passive. So I think also having that mindset of analyzing situations and sitting down and speaking to yourself and okay, why did you do this? Why did you feel the need to do this? You know, I think it's very important. That's something that helped me a lot, you know, in stages where I felt pressured or in stages where I did some things that I didn't like. But
it's asking the question, why?
Yes. Yeah, why? Why did you do that?
Is there a need for it?
Exactly. Did you and a lot of the times if you sit down and you're honest with yourself, you can ask, did you even enjoy it? And you'll find a lot of times you don't even enjoy it. You only did it because it's what everyone was doing. You see, so I think having those honest conversations with yourselves also builds your conviction that when people confront you, you're able to say, nah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. You see, so I think we don't necessarily have that conversation with ourselves. So when people ask us that question, we don't know how to respond because firstly, we haven't asked ourselves that question. So it becomes easier for you to confront certain situations when you have dealt with them internally. You've forced yourself to sit down and ask yourself the difficult questions. Okay, what if they ask you why not? What are you going to say? You see? So that it's not necessarily you're put on the spot, but it's something you know. Yeah, but because I feel like once you understand what you're doing and what you're not doing, it becomes easier to stay and keep that position because you have an understanding of it.
Okay.
You're not easily tossed and turned. But when you don't actually interrogate the things you're doing, it becomes easier for someone else to impose what they believe because you yourself don't have a belief or an opinion about that.
You don't have a footing to stand
Exactly.
on.
So you're waiting for someone to give you a position to take. So I think as a young child, there really isn't any excuse because there's so many platforms for us to learn now. You see, so you have your Instagram, your ChatGPTs. You can just type, what are the benefits of doing this? What are the negatives? Then, any reasonable person will tell that there's actually really no benefits to some of these things. It's just negatives, and then being honest with yourself and saying, okay, I don't really want this. I don't think this is good. And, then just taking the leap of faith and the courage to just say that.
But now, what do we say to a young boy, osekasi, not privileged,
Yes.
good schools, ufunda etakotabo,
Yes.
There's no sports after school.
Yes.
And most of the boys, what I've realized, they're not even coping with
Yes.
the books.
Yes.
Hence now, bayenza is escape plan yabo lento yokubhema and
Yes.
all of that.
Yes.
Let's be realistic. We are
Yes.
talking with umfana wasemamelodi,
Yeah.
Tembisa, all these locals,
Yeah.
ohleli nje ongazi ukuthi what now.
Yes.
Especially abanye baphasile matric
Yeah.
and ekhaya akuna plan, akuna
Yeah.
NSFAS,
Yeah.
akuna plan, uhleli uboy endlini and ukhalifulate
Yeah.
uyaphumela ngaphandle, group of boys sitting at the
Yes.
corner, puff and pass kuyabhenywa,
Yes.
akuna future, akuna
Yes.
nothing to look forward to.
Definitely.
What do we say to those boys at home?
So that's a very good question because I feel like the reason why young people fall into those traps is our need for community. As a young person, you don't want to be
You
alone.
want to belong?
You want to
Sense of
belong.
belonging?
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's why it becomes easier for us to be drawn into negative groups if there's no other group.
Okay.
So I think to answer your question, it may seem general or simplistic, but I feel like this is the most honest and practical way to go about it.
Okay.
Having a goal for your life is so important. Like it's really not a joke. The aspect of what do you see yourself as, because I feel like when that is in the forefront of your mind, that is something you meditate on. It becomes easier for you to say no to things that don't align with what you want for yourself.
Okay.
So as a young child, young boy, you're in the hood. It's just, there's nothing ideal within your immediate circumstance. The problem then becomes that because I'm not seeing anything I want, then what am I supposed to do? And that's where the aspect of, making the decision yourself within you of what you want, asking yourself, what do you want? Okay, what do I want for my life? What are the steps that are necessary for me to become this? I am obviously in an environment now that is not conducive for me to be this. What sacrifice am I willing to make? If it means I'm not going to go outside, is that a sacrifice I'm willing to make? Because any vision you have that is not attached to sacrifice isn't something you really desire.
Okay.
So there will always be sacrifices that are necessary.
You need to sacrifice something
Yes.
for something.
Definitely.
That's what you're saying.
I 100% believe in that.
Okay.
I 100% believe in that, is that you need to have a bigger picture in mind. And that is the challenge that maybe a lot of young boys in underprivileged areas are facing, is that they don't have the opportunity, to sit down and actually write what they want. Because I feel like every one of us as a child has a dream. No child knows what poverty is. It is only as you're exposed to society that you begin to realize that I'm poor and whatnot. So I think maybe, and this maybe also has to do with the parent as well, asking your child to write down what they want, asking the child what to write down their goals, then creating a culture of keeping them accountable. But boy, you said you want to pass with distinctions and you said this is what you're going to commit to. Yeah, well, this is then you almost as like you are carving a path to your end goal. it goes back to what I was saying, that if you do not have a position that you take naturally, you will just take anything that comes your way.
Okay.
So I definitely think, you know, it may sound like a cliche, but it like there's countless testimonies I have of me writing down goals and steps and actually seeing them come into manifestation.
Reaching them step by step.
Exactly. You see,
One by one.
yes.
Budi, wena, what can you say to umfana wasekazi?
On my side, what I can say is that obviously, you know, Ekasi, like I think one of the things that is actually very like a disadvantage that they have is that they're exposed to these things quite frequently. So and then the people that they look up to, they actually do these things.
Yes.
Yeah, well, so it's hard for umfana who is exposed to someone who is always constantly drinking and smoking, and then that person, like let's say maybe for example, has money, yeah, well, and then this child doesn't have money, agana plan, agana in, so he's gonna automatically look up to that guy who is,
True.
yeah, well, so obviously now you feel as if like actually I can make it in life while smoking, I can make it in life while drinking. So you become comfortable in that state because you know the things that you have exposed yourself to is that. So you just confine yourself to the things that you are, yeah, well, osbonayo. So what I can say is that, you know, as gents, like you need to like uvula mehlo and then just realize that you're not just confined to where you are. Yeah, well, there's a lot of people out there who are making it and doing things differently. So like what you expose yourself to is actually very much important. Don't think ukuthi because, you know, amachita lawa apusha lento len so is the only thing that you should be doing. Yeah, well, yeah, it's very important actually to focus on your dreams, have a dream, yeah, well, and then have those goals in motion. Njengoba Mbuso has said, yeah, well, yeah, I think that's what I can say is that don't limit yourself to just what you see.
Yes.
Yeah, well, do actually believe ukuthi you can make it out and then you can do it in a right way. Yeah, well, listen to your parents, honor your mom and your father. When they say don't drink, don't smoke, it's not because, yeah, well, they are saying it out of
Spiteful.
or spiteful. They actually know what they are talking about. Yeah, well, some of the parents that actually telling you this, maybe they are speaking from experience. You know, the reason why we are actually here at Kasi now is because maybe this is what we were doing when we were growing up. So their best interest is at heart. Yeah, well, so I feel like what I can say to them is that just listen to your parents. I think that your parents will actually give you good advice, even though your parent, your mother, your dad might not be someone you look up to or might not be at the place whereby you, yeah, well, could consider them someone who has made it or you are proud of. But best believe deep down your mom or your dad or umzali, whoever raised you, yeah, well, they want the best for you.
Yeah,
they want
ne?
the best for you.
It's so true.
Yeah, so definitely that's
So,
what I can say.
Basically sithi ebafaneni basekasi umalume lo ohlala ku bedroom weginza, he's not the goal.
Yes.
You know, the guy opposite ohamba nge 323 obamba inkunzi, that's not the goal. The goal is listening to your parents.
Yes.
The goal is in your books.
Yes.
You know, and unfortunately unama matriculants which didn't make it.
Yeah.
Stats is coming up. These kids are killing themselves.
Yeah.
Nithini kulapho?
That's a very tough one, to be honest, because you also don't want to trivialize the experience because you haven't gone through it. Exactly. So you don't want to trivialize or look down upon the experiences they've gone through because one hasn't necessarily gone through it. I definitely sympathize with that situation, but I think, you know, it is very important to have perspective when you consider that, you know, when you're in matric, you're only 18, you still have another 3/4 of your life to live. So, you know, a challenge or an obstacle you face in the first quarter of your life doesn't necessarily translate to the entirety of your life.
Okay.
So having that perspective that there's still more to life than this matric grade. I think, you know, maybe also just to speak on my matric year, one of the most important things that I feel like was also a very big contributing factor was understanding that matric isn't all there is to life. There's more to life than just a matric certificate. there's more to life than just the, a bachelor's pass. Although that is good, that is important, that is encouraged. But that is not the all in all. And when I had that understanding, it alleviated a lot of the pressure that matriculates felt. When I used to tell people I used to sleep for 7 hours, I used to sleep. I didn't compromise. Because when you're in it, you realize that, yes, there's added pressure, but it's just another grade. You see, it's just another grade. So even those who, maybe they found themselves, they failed. Going into your rewriting, I do encourage you to rewrite, but also have perspective that, there's more to life. Remember those goals you have for yourself. If you give up at the first hurdle or instance of a challenge, that isn't good. Because this is essentially just a challenge that you're going to overcome. This is going to be a challenge you overcome. That becomes a story you tell one day when you become successful. So I think also having a positive mindset is very necessary as well. When you're in that state of, I don't want to say defeat, because defeat is almost final. But when you're in that challenging state, having a sense of posterity or, the future, which is like, dude, this is just another hurdle I'm going to need to go through. Maybe I'll also share my own testimony. In my final year, of undergrad,
Okay.
I was very, graced and blessed by God that I was, I went through everyone from first year, second year, third year, doing well. Then I remember final year, second semester, there was this one module that was threatening my graduation. It was, a module that was so hard, and I ended up not meeting the requirement, so I had to sub. And I remember when I had to sub, it was the first time I've subbed, I didn't even know what was going on. It's like, it felt like the end of the road for me. But I remember, I told my brother, I told my mother, and they told me, it's okay, boy, you'll get through this. Then I remember there was a decision I had to make.
Okay.
You see, I had to decide. I remember that day vividly. I was sitting behind my desk, I was about to study. At that instance, I could decide that, it's fine. Let me just go through the year again. I'll do it next year. Or I decide that I'm going to put my head down and pass this now and graduate. So it is a decision you make. You need to decide that I am going to make it.
It's a conscious decision.
It's a conscious decision.
One has to take.
Take it and say, you know what? Yes, this is the situation I'm faced with. This is the reality. But I'm going to make it. And refusing everything else that seeks to discourage you from having that mindset. I truly believe, in strengthening your relationship with God in those times, because it's easy for you to neglect your relationship with God, especially in times of trial, because you have that thing with, but where was God when this was happening?
Yeah.
But we don't realize that it is in those circumstances that God is most glorified, because he's able to take you out of a state that looks lifeless. Okay. And begin to, do great and amazing things in your life. Even through that, your testimony is going to be the reason why the next person is able to overcome that.
Okay.
So I think, having the right mindset, having a positive mindset, putting things into perspective, understanding that there's still more to life and that you can do it.
Refuse to give up.
Refuse to give up.
Shed, in short, Buti, what can you say to our matriculants that didn't make it?
In short, what I can say is that just as my brother said, it's not the end of the road. Yeah, well, on my side, I feel like, matric was years ago, 10 years now, I think. But all the people that I went to matric with, even a few that I know that didn't, get the marks that they needed, or some didn't make it. But right now, they are doing very well for themselves. Yeah, well, they didn't take it as though, I said, or anything like that. So all I can say is that it's possible to, make a life for yourself out of the results that you would get even with matric. Because there's na varsity manje or TVET colleges as well, that can because some people because some people they are only just gunning for varsities and stuff like that, then they think it's okay if they don't make the admission in varsity, then it's the end of the road. But there's a lot of TVET colleges, you can work with your hands. Some people even made it in sports. If you're very gifted in sports as well, well, you can also look at that. It's okay. Maybe school didn't work out here, but then about thing pushing up and stuff like that. So it's not entirely the end of the road.
True.
Yeah.
You are raising a very important point of TVET colleges.
Yeah.
And you just made me realize that, not all of us are academics. What I can say to everyone at home, especially the matriculants, not all of us are matriculants. And if you didn't make it, there's other avenues to explore,
Yes.
as Shed said, there's NCV, there's NATED, TVET colleges are there specifically to help you, especially laba bezandla, hairdressing.
Yes.
Ngizwe bathi kunenye i-course abayifakile manje abo-ECD, like kuningi bafowethu. It's not the end of the world. What I'm trying to say is it's not cut and dry. You need to give yourself grace, and you need to
Yes.
give yourself another chance. Anything is possible kulo mhlaba kaJehova. Right, bafowethu, we are running out of time. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you so much.
I had a conversation that, it's great, Nyabonga. What can you say to your lovely mom? Wow, she did a great job.
What I can say to my mom is that, I love you so much, Mom. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You've always been there for us, and continue to stay strong. And we love you, and we will always, honor you and appreciate you, and we will take care of you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I can say from my side.
Mbuso?
I think I'm just going to echo the same words my brother said. Mom, we love you so much. You have been a pillar in our lives. We are so proud of you. We are so proud of you. We look at you as a beam of life, a beam of hope. We see with you that things are possible. You go through certain things, so many challenges, and you always come out on top. So continue to persevere, continue to persist. Don't grow weary, don't grow tired. This life still has so much more to offer for you, and we honestly can't wait to see what God has in store for you. We wish you nothing but good health, a long life, a fulfilling life, and that you'll be able to live to a good old age and see your grandchildren grow up, and just be blessed. We love you so much, Mom.
Well, I cannot say anything more than that. But you are saying to the boys at home, it's possible to grow up without a father.
Yes.
It's not the end of the world. Angisho ngicela mazukugcina to a boy child at home. Whether unobaba, whether ubaba ukhona, whether ubaba ubalekile, whether ubaba ushonile, what can you say to that boy at home watching now?
Njaya, what I would say to you, osekaya and you don't have a father, it's possible. It's possible. It all starts with you, first of all, believing. Would say it's possible. Believing with I can be, a success. I can get out of tough situations. I can achieve good things. I can be a good man. It is so possible. I'd also just encourage you as a young guy at home, maybe you don't have a father, to find comfort in your relationship with God.
Amen.
Don't run away from God and look at it as though it's a weakness. We are who we are today because of what the Lord has done for us in our own lives. Mom mentioned a very powerful scripture at the beginning that, God is the father to the fatherless and a husband to the widow. So I think, leverage on that. I always, brought that word back to God. God, you said you are a father to the fatherless. Right now, I'm in need of this. As a father, fathers provide.
Yes.
So don't feel as though you are alone. Don't feel as though it's the end of the road. God has a lot in store for you.
Amen.
You are able to do great things. You are able to be a good man. For those of you, maybe your fathers have gone away. You are able to be a present father one day. You are able to be a good reflection of what a man is. But I'd encourage you to, first of all, don't run away from God. Seek Christ in this time. Seek Christ passionately and consciously, and also believe that you are able. Believe, refuse defeat. Don't accept it. There's no need for you to be a statistic of a child who grew up without a father, and that's not successful. Refuse to be that statistic. You are able to do great things as a young man. So that's what I would say.
That is so good, Mbuso. Ngiyabonga Puti. And Puti, what do you say to very short emakhaya? Ongaka ubaba kekho, as I was asking Mbuso, what do you say?
On my side, what I would say is that, just as my brother said, you know, like open up yourself to the fact that, you know, there is a Father out there who loves you, yabo, Father God. And then it's never a point to say like, don't come to a point whereby you feel as though because you don't have a dad, nothing in life, yabo, is gonna happen for you or anything, yabo, would say nothing's gonna open up for you. But then just keep on believing, which, you know, God didn't allow this situation to happen, for me, knowing very well that it's gonna break me. You're never gonna come across a situation or a circumstance whereby God is doing this intentionally just to break you, but then He's gonna glorify Himself at the end. So always have that at the back of your mind. You would see whatever challenge that you're going through, whether be it, you know, your dad passed away or he was never there or anything like that, but there is a lesson to it, and then you will always come out victorious. If you are persistent in the things that you do. Yeah.
Also, gents, especially guys, be open to receiving mentorship. Be open to receiving mentorship. There's good men out there who are willing to guide and direct you. That is something my brother and I, you know, have started embracing, especially recently.
Okay.
There's good men out there who can tell you, can teach you, okay, how do you be a father? For example, my brother is a young father. He has conversation with guys who, you know, are fathers. You know, maybe as a young guy, like, I have a crush on a girl. How do you? So embrace speaking up as a young guy. I think that's maybe something I wish I'd done earlier. You know, allowing other male figures into my life so that they can guide me. You see, so I think as a young guy, you know, you don't have a father. Not all guys or men are, you know, bad. There are guys or men out there who genuinely are good and who you can genuinely learn a lot from. So I'd also very much encourage mentorship. And having good role models who you can model your life after, especially if you grew up without a father figure.
Then, Mom, what can I say after that? These brothers are wise, you know, bahlakaniphile, and I have learned a lot personally. And you know what? The Bible says, umntwana fana hloniphe umamakhe nobabakhe. Kids at home, make sure that you respect your parents and
Yes.
do not be led astray. You have a right to say no to chuv. You have a right to say no to alcohol. It's your right. And believe in me, anginamuntu ozokforce ukuthi wenze anything that you don't want to do. Right? Remember, we are going to have an event, May 25 Zagam. April 2026, our very first event. Make sure you are there. There's a clip with all the information. Ngiyabonga mndeni wami. Thank you for always loving and subscribing and sharing. Everything is on the bottom of the screen. If you want to come share your story, good or bad, anything, siyaza siyahlala siyahila, and God is always with us. This is Let's Heal Marriages. Nisale kahle. Any last words, boys?
Stay blessed.
Buti?
Yeah, I would say the same. Stay blessed, guys.
Amen. Siyabonga, nisale kahle makhaya. Bye bye.